Welcome to Auntie Chats and Tarot. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Remember, not everything's going to resonate here today. Collective. Take what does. Take what's for you. What you feel like is for you. And, something may show up later that's for you that you didn't realize. Take what helps you to help yourself. Okay. We're going to be talking about... Let's shuffle a little bit more here. We're talking about a fellow viewer here that's wondering about their intensity. Does it affect in a negative way their relationships? Great question. Let's see what the cards have to say. Great question. And if you have a question that's rolling around in your mind and you want to have a look at the cards with me, let me know in the comments. Here we go. Let's take a look at this great question. What's some of the advice here? Eight of Wands in the reverse, the Tower in the reverse, the King of Wands, the Page of Cups. Yeah, here you are. Here's that intensity. But, the King of Wands gets that intensity to work for them. Now, the rest of your cards are upside down here. Page of Cups in the reverse, Tower in the reverse, Eight of Wands in the reverse. Here's what it's saying. This works for you. You change up the energy in a room. People are drawn to you. Moth, flame type of energy, okay? But then also note that there's a line, a kind of a fine line here. And I think you're well aware of it, the way that the question was phrased. You got to walk the balance here because... I'm seeing there are situations here where the intensity causes you to feel like you need to apologize or do need to apologize to folks, where you circumnavigate a tower situation, trouble. You have to kind of navigate trouble. Maybe you've stirred up intentionally, non-intentionally. And with... the energy here too, I'm also seeing, the pizzazz that you have, the intensity that you have, it works for you and it doesn't. It can be very forward moving, proactive, and it can also be causing you enough problems where you're circumnavigating problems or, like I said, having to apologize, that it slows up your energy too. So right out of the gate, we're talking about balance here. It's both good and has its drawbacks, okay? Justice in the reverse. What's the Justice in the reverse here? Knight of Wands. Yeah, it's bold energy. It's bold energy. I'm getting a couple things. It's an injustice when you feel like you can't use it, and sometimes it rubs people a certain way. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. You got to manage this. You just can't go out with this wild, you got to be aware of the consequences, okay? Got to be aware of both sides to this, the positive and the negative. Because it can throw you off when you're normally very focused. It can scatter you. The energy can scatter you. Five of Cups. It can bring you to a point of regretting. But there's a lot of positive that happens here too because of it. What's the advice here, Spirit? I'm not feeling one way or the other. I'm feeling like we're getting messages. Here's what happens when it's working for you. Here's what happens when it's not working for you, okay? And I feel like you're well aware of it, which is why you asked in the first place. Five of Pentacles here, Knight of Swords in the reverse. It's definitely gotten you out of places that have felt like lack. Absolutely. because you've been, what's the phrase? Hungry dogs run faster, okay? Your intensity has brought a lot of good things towards you, brought a lot of good people towards you. I'm also hearing has allowed you to recognize the true nature of yourself. It also causes people to talk about you. Now, I don't think you need to worry about that ever, but you, I feel like, are aware that people do talk about this topic and you. So I feel like advice-wise, what we're saying is, relish the opportunity here that you make because of your intensity to get out of lack or to get out of slow-moving energy that you want quick results. Yeah, you're that type. You want quick results. But also be aware that, if you're worried about people talking about you, they are. And I say don't worry about that. Queen of Swords here. A lot of times people will be talking about it in a good way too, or in a way of, I wish I had that. So keep that in mind. Queen of Swords, you've got to have discerning energy here about this. Ten of Swords, Three of Wands. I'm also hearing for your health's sake, just know how to tone it. Know when to use it and when to tone it down. I believe this started, the energy is, this came about when you were tired of waiting on things and you thought, look, I don't need like a gatekeeper to tell me it's a go regarding anything in my life. I have the gumption, I have the energy, I have the intensity to make things happen. And I'm expecting too little, and you just said, I'm done with that. And that is very admirable, and I feel like Spirit is saying the same. But there's definitely a need here with the advice about manage this, balance. More advice here, Spirit, about the intensity affecting relationships. It can definitely bring about chaos. Yeah. Five of Wands. Know when that's building, when you're getting to that point where it's starting to affect others and in a way that's in a negative light, and then know what to do with this, because when it comes back on you chaotically or creating problems, that's heartbreaking for you, yeah. And I feel like that has happened. That's probably what's prompted the question in the first place. Queen of Wands. King of Wands. This is telling me, get in with people that are also intense. They'll understand. They'll understand better. If other people are kind of slow and thinking about their feelings and something, and you're like already moved on to the next few points in the situation, give people slack for seeing something different and reacting to a situation differently, but also get around like-minded people so that you're not thinking this is a setback for you. This definitely has worked to your advantage in a lot of ways. Get around other people who mirror that a little bit more, because I definitely don't think Spirit in any way is saying this is a bad thing. It's manage this, be aware of all the angles on this, give people their due if they're seeing something differently. Yeah, come into balance with this. And a good way to come into balance with things is to be observant of others, be conscious of others' reactions, that they're going to be different to yours. Be open to that. And also, at the same time, find like-minded people who understand the intensity and why you've reacted. That brings in a certain amount of balance here. Harmony. Find harmony with this intensity. Five of Swords in the reverse. It's been good in different settings that are competitive, but also the message is don't always use this as your go-to in a competitive setting, okay? Know when to use it and when to kind of manage it a little bit better. Yeah, manage is a big word in this read. The Hermit, the Star. You've given this a lot of thought. I think you're well on your way to handling this just fine. Handling it in a very healthy way. Be intense in a healthy way, okay? That means don't encroach on other people's feelings and thoughts. Be intense in a healthy way, where it's healthy to go after something. Know the differences. Have the balance here. Have the harmony. Page of Pentacles. Okay, I'm also hearing some of you will relate to somebody saying, yeah, this is wrong. You shouldn't be this way. Okay? And I don't see anything in the cards that's saying you should be this way unless you're encroaching on somebody else's will, their freedom in expressing themselves. Just like you wouldn't want someone saying, yeah, this is wrong. And I feel like maybe somebody in your life is saying this. You're too intense, tone it down. It's not so much tone it down, remember, it's manage it, harmonize it as you see fit in your life, because it really has done you quite a bit of good. It just can also do the reverse. And you need to be very on your toes about which is which and be ready to switch when you need to. But just like you don't want to hear somebody say, don't be something that's very intricate to your personality, you don't want to say that to somebody else. Page of Pentacles out here. Yeah. See, you're very precocious and intense, and you're unique that way, and it's great. I think it has served you well. You have gotten into places that a lot of people dream of because you were intense and you never heard the word no and you kept going. Okay? It's just a reminder to don't listen to somebody who's saying you need to be and then fill in the blank. Not this or, manage this better. Just manage the intensity, knowing that this can be a very easy flip where it's working for you and it's working against you. Okay, Seven of Cups in the reverse and the Hierophant. Yeah, get clear here on when it's working for you and when it's working against you. And do that by meditation and do that by divine connection. Tap into your divine team here. Tap into the divine. Ask for guidance from the divine on this. And even when you're in the midst of situations, ask for divine guidance. Let's say it's some sort of heated sporting event, and you just have an inkling that maybe it's just getting a little out of hand, and yet you also really want to push yourself. Ask for guidance in the game, during the game. Talk to the divine when you need that guidance. Reach out, ask for it. At any time, I feel like that's unlimited when you can reach out. Seven of Wands. Some people are just going to see you as aggressive. They're just going to misunderstand you as being aggressive or defensive, and that's okay, because you're not always going to win with everybody. Just make sure that it's not destructive to you or to another, the intensity. High Priestess. And how are you going to know? Your instincts. I think you're very intuitive anyway, particularly about this aspect of your personality. Or again, you wouldn't have asked the question. Okay? But get this other person out of your head. I feel like definitely somebody's in your head who, likes to play wise counselor. And maybe they are, but in this regard, if this is an integral part of your personality, then it's not wise to say, don't be X, Y, and Z if it's who you are. Be who you are, but just know how to train this within a little bit better, okay? And that's knowing when it's beneficial to you and when it's a drawback for you. 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, this person that's being the wise counselor, in this regard, they haven't done enough investing in you or watching you or really paying attention to the real you to know who you are. It's more of a projection of who they want you to be, or even maybe who they want to be. But I feel like this is a message of focus in on self and know how to manage this. Don't take this aspect away from you. It's done you a great deal of good. It's done you a good service. But just know how to train it up. Know when to let the intensity go and when to turn on the gas. Judgment, yeah. Know when to judge these settings that you're in. Know when it's to your advantage and when it's not. Okay, solely decided by you, okay, not anybody else. And certainly not somebody trying to say, be different than who you really are. Okay, let's grab a charm. We've got the bowling pin and ball. Interesting, okay. And we've got the mirror. Yeah, take a good look at what's going on here, in particular with this wise counsel, not the divine. Now the divine, you will receive wise counsel, but somebody is trying to be a wise counsel here for you, because I feel like they too need to look in the mirror. Just be a little, take their advice with a little bit lighter, a little bit more grain of salt type of energy. King of Cups. You're also really very sweet. And people can see that. So just in certain settings, you're intense. I think you're often on your own by yourself. But I think what you really enjoy is challenges. Some people really thrive in challenging situations. I think you either do or you don't. And you like a challenge, okay? Maybe double what a normal person would. 9 of Pentacles out here, the World, the Queen of Wands. You've gotten the Queen of Wands twice. Yeah. And remember, we talked about that being, get around like-minded people who are also intense, that like challenges, yeah, that reinforce this is a good thing. And then keep it healthy, keep it at a healthy level. People do watch you because of this. They watch and admire you, even if they're not saying it. Yeah, because you strike a fire. You have fire under your feet. You're, very motivated, and you can motivate others. If you're looking for a partner, it's going to be someone who's like that too. So as you get along around more like-minded people, you might have a connection that comes in more romantic. And also, there's something here about let the knowledge of when to use this and when not to use this come to you through the divine, but don't attack it as far as I've got to have an answer. Be more receptive to putting it out there and then waiting for the answer or feeling the answer that's right. Yeah, I feel like you're going to be traveling a lot. You do a lot of daredevil type things. Could involve travel, could involve even speaking on this online. And, wow. what people might not notice about you right off the bat is actually you're quite sweet and you're really reliable. So show a little bit more of that side of you, and or people recognize that as they get to know you. But this spark you have, certainly don't put it out. Just harmonize it a little bit more. I really like this read. I hope this has been helpful. Okay, so we've got the Page of Wands, but it's in the reverse. Yeah, because here's the deal with you. If you're not inspired by something, you're out. Like, you're bored quickly. Confirmation card, you're bored quickly. And that's okay. But instead of having, a meltdown because you're bored and, you're intense, harness that energy. Do something positive with it. Get those wheels going so that you're not bored. I don't think you stay bored very long. I think that harnessing your energy is something to work on and something that actually you're pretty good at. 9 of Wands. Yeah, you can get really drained if it's the same old, one day to the next. You have to have variety and you have to have something exciting going on. What's Spirit saying about that? The Page of Pentacles I can't show here. And Judgment. Yeah, you create offers. Your excitement creates things. Your lack of settling for boredom and being drained by nothing's going on. You never settle. You always inspire or spark the next thing. Yeah. And that's just who you are. Let that be who you are. Final message, be yourself. Let it speak volumes who you are. Don't let anybody change you, try to change you. But also, because you're aware of this intensity, if you get yourself in volatile situations, know how to control that, how to manage that to your advantage. Okay. Yeah, and we grabbed a charm already, so let's grab just one oracle here and close out. I like the message. Be yourself, and then know what aspects to manage a little bit better. I think you're well on your way, and knowing what areas need a little work, need a little bit more attention. I feel like you're a very rational person as well as being intense. You have passion. It's wonderful. A very passionate person, passionate soul. It's terrific. Use it to your advantage. Yin and chaos. Chaos and conflict. Okay. Pretty much the summation of what we've talked about. Yeah, the yin, the really laid back energy, and the chaos and conflict. Okay, the feminine energy that allows, doesn't go after it, sits back, waits, things come to the feminine energy, as opposed to masculine, out there, active, making things happen. Chaos and conflict, yeah. It's the blend that you need to get here. Know when to pull back when there's chaos and conflict. Know when to go for it when you're just with your good instincts feeling like this is where I really, really, really go for it. And put all your passion towards it. That is your message. I hope it's very helpful. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. It helps the channel to grow. It helps me to reach others. Please do participate in our new segment. If there's something you want to hear the cards talk to you about, or if there's some advice you're needing, a particular situation you're in, we'll take a look at the cards and see what they have to say, as we have done right here. Please do utilize the link for Buy Me a Coffee. All these efforts help me to see that the time that I'm spending here is productive for both of us. And that's my ultimate goal. Until next time, let's remember who we are and let's remember our self-worth. Thanks for joining me.